told it one other time before.
Okay.
This is a very special. So we did a special July 4th edition. PCGS. Like I said, we sell all of the certification companies here. We do Annex, we do PCGS, we do NGC. We kind of set the standard.
Yes.
People, other coin places spend a lot of time chasing us.
Right.
Because we set the standard here. And this is another one where we did that. So remember, we have the flag core NGC that's exclusive, okay?
Yeah.
It's exclusive to me. Well, my company is also exclusive to PCGS Statue of Liberty with the Statue of Liberty core that holds, that, as you can see, that holds the 2019 Eagle. Now here's what we did. We made these on July 4th, 2019. There's 1,000 coins. There's 1,000 coins and 1,000 coins only. That's it. That will ever be done in the special Statue of Liberty core that you can see right here. Yeah. That is PCGS. It is, like I said, it is something that has never been done before. It is something that's 100% exclusive to my company. It is going to be the Statue of Liberty PCGS Mint State 70 American Silver Eagle, made, released, done on July 4th of this year, period. Only 1,000 coins will ever be done.
That's wild. Only
1,000 coins, and you can see 1 of 1,000 for this in PCGS. Now, this is relatively unique. We've done this in Annex, in essence, for years.
Okay, yeah.
PCGS is an old school, old line. It took us a long time to kind of talk them into doing this. And so finally, you know, they've come to bear, if you will, for us to be able to do these unique things. Because what I got tired of is, once again, is this label-folication of American numismatics, where you have 8,600 different. So I'm talking to coin dealers, well, you know, with this label and that, and I go, I can't follow you anymore. I'm out. So what we decided to do, simple, regular label. Statue of Liberty back, a limited edition of 1,000, Mint State 70, it's absolutely perfect, that's it. You don't have to worry about other labels. You don't have to worry about other things. It's exclusive. You got a great price at only $79.95. You've got it, like I said. So what we've done is I've made it just far easier. So when you do things like this, when you do $79.95, then I can do pricing things. Okay, so I don't have to worry about people that sometimes buy these things and sell them for 3 times more than they should have, or less than they paid for them. Right. I don't know. Well, of course, anybody can buy this for $79.95. You can sell for $10 if you want. I don't know why you would. But that's the deal. It's $79.95. This is our 4th of July Silver Eagle coin. This is a special coin that was made, like I said, for July 4th, only for July 4th, only 1,000 coins in existence, 100% exclusive to my company, that you're going to have right here with the Statue of Liberty label, and then the Statue of Liberty core that you're going to have in there, that you're going to see with the coin itself. I think that is a perfect representation of the American Silver Eagle. Now keep in mind, also with the American Silver Eagle, even though they make a lot of them, Mint State 70 is still extremely difficult to get. Mint State 70 is still extraordinarily and extremely difficult to get. The biggest reason for that is the United States government does not take a lot of care. Does not take a lot of care in making the American Silver Eagle. I mean, they make 30 or 40 or 50 million of them. So there's not a lot of effort they put into keeping them perfect. So that's why Mint State 70 American Silver Eagles tend to bring extreme premiums in the marketplace. So you go back to like a 1996 American Mint State 70 Silver Eagle, regular uncirculated one, I can sell you for $79.95. But in Mint State 70, I got to charge you $10,000. Okay, so grade matters. This is the same type of thing. And now add in the uniqueness of the label, Statue of Liberty, add in the fact that there's only 1,000, add in the fact that it's PCGS, add in the fact that I've got the Statue of Liberty core that you're going. So we've already sold 300 of them.
I was just going to ask, because you don't have 1,000 available.
Oh, goodness no. Well, we already sold 300 plus. I'm down to 700 coins. Right. There you go, 714, 713. They're going quickly now as people realize, okay, this is unique, this is important, this is numbered, only 1 of 1,000. There's only 1,000 of these that are ever going to be made. And I think that's an important, incredible part of collectability, and that this was only a July 4th issue. There'll never be more than 1,000 of these coins. There'll never be more than 1,000 of these coins, and like I said, 100% exclusive, so you can be guaranteed in terms of pricing. You know, that's a comfort that you have that. You've got this unique design as well, so that you know that, you know, you don't have, you know, kind of secondary things. And so everybody else, there'll be people trying to chase this design and all this other stuff. But this is the original. This is the first one. This is the standard, if you will. And of course, in the past, PCGS 70s, $89.99, $99.99, $109, $119, $129 or more the standard price. $79.95 for an exclusive label and exclusive core is, I think, a spectacular opportunity for us to be able to do this. Like I said, the 4th of July American Silver Eagle coin.
And it's a great, well, the fact that it's also on FlexPay doesn't hurt either, because I mean, really at that $79.95 price, certainly HSN and Mike wouldn't have needed to do that, but then at $39.98, you know, it just makes it a little easier to fit your budget. So if you're not sure where to put your toe in the water or jump in, this would be a good place to start.
Look, I bring you the best possible coins I can at the best possible price. But then, you know, you have to be able to fit them into your budget. You have to be able to fit them into your collection. That's where HSN comes in, where we have VIP financing, we have FlexPay.
30-day return.
We've got all this 30-day return. We've got, you know, $5.50 shipping and handling. Very reasonable, you know, very reasonable shipping and handling with that as well. Because, I mean, that's shipping, that's insured, that's all that other stuff with that. And so what we do is we just make this as seamless a thing as you can. And understand, look, if you're out there buying coins on the internet, good luck to you. I mean, it's the Wild West. You want to be a coin cowboy, that's your business. Look, I've only got 50 years experience basically in the business. Not quite, but I'm just about to 50 years experience. I've gotten coins on the internet that were just, when I realized it, I go, I think this is counterfeit, so I got to wait. I got to figure out. Sure enough, I've been taken on the internet.
There's a lot of bait and switch.
Because I'm out there doing that. People that, and then when you go to find them, they've disappeared into the ether. You know, whereas HSN, we've been here for several years now.
42.
42 of them. The vast majority of those years, there has been a coin show here. I've been here for almost half of those years. And so when you have that longevity, when you have that, where you have that standardized, trusted source to be able to get your numismatic coins, where we have the ability to bring you unique coins at unique prices, where we can guarantee you exclusivity and limited edition, that's why you buy your coins here at
You do indeed. Remember, $39.98, a good portion of these are already spoken for, so ours exclusively as long as supplies last. Backed by